One greetings from the high 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans, and thanks for joining me. This live is pertaining to two women who were brutally murdered in Moab, Utah, a few months ago. And many people have pondered the connection between the two women and Brian Laundrie. And there's a rumor circulating via the internet that perhaps one of the women saw an altercation between Petito and Laundrie, and I don't know if that's true or not. But as I said, there hasn't been any verification, much of anything pertaining to this storyline, except for two people were found deceased. One out in Utah, a woman, Petito. Brian later goes to Florida, kills himself. Hello, everybody in the chat. But that's basically it. Also, there were some stolen guns found, stolen weeks before the Moab murders, and they're trying to see if perhaps any of those casings or anything from the crime matches these bullets from the stolen gun. I'll bring you that said information, and try to get my thoughts together. The Laundries are seeking $20,000 of their son's money from a bank account, and I will bring you that information in my commentary on all subject matters. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. This is by KSL TV. I'm a little bit behind on the said information pertaining to the women and this information that I'm bringing you, because I believe this is from November. Stolen guns may match bullet casings of Moab double homicide. A report that some firearms were stolen in Colorado just weeks before Colin Schultz and Crystal Turner were found dead near Moab shows one of those weapons is pretty unique and could match the usual bullet casings found at the scene of the crime. It's been a little over 3 months now. The girls are gone, but we don't have answers, said Sean Paul Schultz. That's torturous. It's the holiday season. It's really tough for our family. Too long for a father to go without closure. But Schultz said he couldn't give up on finding out what happened to his daughter. Colin Schultz and her newlywed wife, Crystal Turner, who Sean Paul Schultz said was also a daughter to him. So for me, it takes forever, One day takes too long, Schultz said. Colin Schultz, 24, and Turner, 38, were found dead in the South Mesa area of the LaSalle Loop Road just outside of Moab on August 18th. A preliminary report from the Utah Office of the Medical Examiner showed they both died from gunshot wounds. Now, Sean Paul Schultz is putting his focus on something found at the crime scene in the LaSalle Mountains. It's a silver-colored 9mm bullet, he said. It's a very specific ammo. 4 casings, according to a search warrant from the Grand County Sheriff's Office, coupled with the recent discovery that some weapons were stolen in Montezuma County, Colorado, just a couple of weeks before the murders that occurred approximately August 13th. Okay. Schultz says that information first came through a tip he received at a tip booth he set up in Moab. KSL obtained an incident report from the Montezuma County Sheriff's Office that confirmed a 9mm Turkish-made pistol was reported stolen, along with a Turkish-made shotgun and bolt-action hunting rifle. We need someone to say, hey, I remember a creepy guy trying to sell a gun. Any 9mm that was lost, stolen, hawked, or if anyone knows of anyone who tried to sell a suspicious 9mm, Schultz said. We just really have to get lucky on trying to find that murder weapon. In the meantime, Schultz is asking those who knew Colin and Turner to remember who they were to the people around them. We don't want this tragedy to bring other people down, Sean Paul Schultz said. We want them to lift up. We want them to remember how bright the girls' love light shined. Colin and Crystal had a pure, true bright light and with each other, and that's what we're trying to focus on. If you have any information that could help, you can call the Grand County Sheriff's Office. Although it's not clear if the stolen pistol was the one used in the crime, Schultz would like to see more information about this potential lead. Schultz is also looking for information regarding any vehicles seen coming off Forestry Road 4651 in the LaSalle Mountains around the time of the murder, between August 13th and the 18th. Anyone with tips can also call Schultz's private investigator, Jason K. Jensen, at 801-759-2248. This said information is by KSL TV NBC News 5 if you need verification for the information. As I've said before, this case is still open investigation. There hasn't been any new information relayed pertaining to a suspects, weapons used, any type of leads pertaining to this information. So it's very sad. It's a very sad case of two women brutally murdered. I'm waiting to hear if information they were sexually assaulted, because one of the women bra was pulled up. They were indisposed, I believe. So this is just a very horrific case out of Utah. And as I said, rumors started circulating once Petito went missing and the search for Brian Laundrie. Then this issue came up with these women because they were out there in that same area where these women were. So perhaps one of the women saw something. There are some people who have content uploaded in the queue pertaining to one of the women being a witness to the fight. So that's question number one. Who killed the women and why? Two, did one of the women witness a fight between Petito and Laundrie? I don't know. Is Brian Laundrie responsible for these two women's deaths? I don't know. But everyone has been speculating about this case. You're entitled to your opinion of what you think. Now there's rumors that he's still alive. I'm going to bring you all this information pertaining to the two ladies. I'm going to play audio pertaining to some very disturbing things found in a search warrant pertaining to the women in their van and a storage unit. I will also bring you information pertaining to the Laundrie seeking the estate of their son from a bank account, which is very suspicious to me, that he had money and then he ran with Gabby's car to Tennessee. I mean, not Tennessee, Florida. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm a little off today. Came all the way to Florida in the van, stole her money off her credit cards. Yet we now hear his parents are trying to get his money from a bank. And they're also seeking a notebook, allegedly. It's just a bunch of stuff going on that makes no logical sense. Lord, I don't really know what's going on. It's just baffling to me. Some people think he's still alive. So this is an all-inclusive live pertaining to the women, what happened to them. I'm bringing information about storage unit, information found from their van, information about Brian Laundrie possibly still being alive, people saying they've seen him, issues about his parents wanting his estate, and a notebook. I'm trying to make sure I touch on everything. And I also will play brief audio from the parents of Gabby Petito about their feelings pertaining to the case. There's just no words. I can't even get my bearings because it's just so crazy. I'm going to bring you something about thesun.com, and then I'm going to play audio for you. Thank you so much for joining me. This is pertaining to the dog bounty hunter. This was uploaded December 31st. Sean Paul Schulte took to Facebook to ask Dog to help find answers in the mysterious deaths of his daughter, Kylan, and her wife, Crystal Turner, who were both found dead with gunshot wounds at a campsite in August. And inside this article, you will see pictures of the dog in a vehicle and the two women on their wedding day. Sean Paul Schulte went viral, and Dog, who joined the hunt for Gabby Petito and Brian back in September, is heading to Moab, Utah, according to Schulte's update on Facebook. I've spoken with Dog 3 times now. He's coming back to Moab again to help us, JJ and the dog. Plus the essentials. Praise the Lord, Schulte wrote. Moab was the scene of the notorious body cam footage of Gabby and Laundrie after their fight. It has been speculated, but not confirmed by law enforcement, that the newlyweds might have shot pool with Gabby and Laundrie in Moab before they were found shot to death at a campsite in the LaSalle Mountain Range in August. Now, that's new information. I've never heard that. That's even more scary. Their deaths came just days after Gabby and Brian were said to have argued in Moab's Moonflower Co-op, which is where Kylan worked. So that's been verified. That place where they had the altercation, outside, inside, wherever, one of the dead women worked there. So once again, did this woman see something, intervene, make a comment? What? She can't tell us because she's no longer alive. Shortly before their murder, Kylan and Crystal had told friends that they were moving to another site because there was a weirdo camping near them that was freaking them out. Once again, did they ever move to another site? I've always wondered that. Did they move to another site when they returned from visiting their friends that night? Did they go and move their campsite somewhere else? Given the closeness of time and location in the two incidents, investigators had since speculated whether they could be linked. While officials later determined that the married couple's deaths were not connected to Gabby's murder, Colin's father has questioned whether Gabby and Brian had played pool with his daughter and her new wife in the hours before their death. A post on the Understanding Crime Facebook page says that Sean Paul wanted to know if it was Brian and Gabby who were shooting pool at a Moab bar called Woody's Tavern. According to Sean Paul, it was at Woody's Tavern where Crystal and Colin mentioned the creepy man to friends. So that's even more interesting. If we go back into history, that the original conversation was at the bar where the women were. Now, Sean Paul, the father, is saying it was at this tavern, Woody's Tavern, where Crystal and Colin mentioned the creepy man to their friends. So I don't know if they were talking to their friends on the phone, video chatting, texting while at this place. But that's even more creepy that the conversation wasn't about the man at the campsite originally, because now that leads one to believe the man followed them to the campsite. Because how do you have them, one, talking about a creepy person at a bar? You don't really know what to think. Were they just talking about it at the bar with their friends? Or did they notice the creepy guy at the bar? I don't know. I'm lost for words for this situation. Okay. Crystal and Colin had said the man was giving them problems and told friends they were planning to move to a different campsite. So now we have to ask ourselves another question. How long was the man at the campsite? Hold on one second. How long was he there? What was he doing? What was he saying to the women? Was he alone? Was he there with somebody else? Was he on foot? Did he have a tent? Did he have a camper? A car? See, those are all the questions that we don't have any answers. And this Moonflower Place, do they not have surveillance cameras? Nobody in the area with businesses have any surveillance cameras. This whole story is so whack to me pertaining to this. All of these people, everything, nothing makes any sense to me. I've never seen a story where there are no cameras verifying anything. Hello, everybody. Okay. As I said, the women said the man was giving them problems and told friends they were planning to move to a different campsite. We don't know if it was him, said Sean Paul, about the man Crystal played pool with. It was a couple, a young couple. And private investigator Jason Jensen believes the man the couple mentioned must be connected to their deaths. So, see, that's new information. That Crystal played pool with somebody, and it was a couple, a young couple. See, I've never even heard that before, that they played pool with somebody. But I always thought that in the beginning that it was somebody in the bar that was giving them problems. But it seemed like there was more talk about the campsite than the actual issue at the bar. So now the father is saying she shot pool with somebody at the tavern, and there was a couple. Very interesting. And private investigator Jason Jensen believes the man couple mentioned must be connected to their deaths. In regard to the creepy man, Jensen said, that's really who we're looking for. Jensen told News Nation Now, we wonder who this guy is, and I don't think there is a coincidence. That somebody else is a murderer, I think it's really this creepy guy. Jensen said that Brian couldn't be ruled out until it was proven that he was out of the area before the couple was murdered. Cindy Hunter, who found Crystal and Colin's body, said that she's frustrated that more information about the case hasn't been released yet. We know nothing, Hunter said. They told us Brian Laundrie is not involved. They told us that we're safe, but they don't tell us why. None of us feel safe. No charges have been brought in Gabby's murder. Police have also not named a suspect in Crystal or Colin's deaths. Now, as far as saying that the people are safe, how in the world could they be safe when two women were brutally murdered out in the open? There's no such thing as safe. It's so crazy. All right, everybody. That's the said information by thesun.com if you need verification for that information. Let me see. Let's see if this is the dog talking on here or not. Let me have a look.
Thing about us ever going to A&E. That is a lie. We have put together, if you look at my Instagram, we've got 3-4 shows in the can. Beware a Dog. So I've been on television 23 years. That's what I do. And I just did this arrest. Oh my God, where's the camera? I ain't taking that chance anymore. So yes, that's what I do for a living, 20 some years. When they put the microphone on me with you, I feel employed. That's how I grew up on television myself. So my kids were born on television. My grandkids are born on. Now, will this cause us to get a show? I doubt it.
Okay. I thought this was going to be something pertaining to the case. Obviously not. Sorry about that. Just him talking about his life in the show. Thank you all for joining me. If you want to donate to the channel, $BigAngie129 Cash App. All super chats are welcome during the live. I'm going to play you some very interesting information that I've missed somehow, I guess with the holidays and talking about other things on this channel. I jumped from the Petito case because once I found out, that he was dead, they ruled it suicide. I just moved on with other things. But this is pertaining to the women. Very, very, very interesting information. This was uploaded 3 months ago. I don't know how I missed this court TV situation, but we'll see. Thank you all for joining me. Well, I hope they didn't suffer either, because they died brutally, just brutally.
To see it complemented with someone like Crystal, that they could really enjoy life and do it together.
Kylan and her wife, Crystal Turner, got married 4 months ago, loved living van life, and called the outdoors around Moab home. Many people knew the couple around town, which is why when the two were no-call, no-shows, it was clear something was wrong. The family, all out of state, say police searched, but it wasn't until an acquaintance drove out to the South Mesa area in the LaSalle Mountains herself that they discovered the horrifying news.
She was on the phone with my brother when she pulled up to the car. She looks at the site and sees a body and tells my brother that he sent a text that said it's Kylan and Crystal.
The Grand County Sheriff's Office confirmed the two women were shot and killed, they believe, by someone else.
The evidence that we've gathered at this time, that's what it's led us to believe was an isolated incident.
That's all they can say for now. Bridget explained how friends told them the couple mentioned a man creeping them out near their campsite.
Friends Saturday that they met up with, they said they were going to go move. They were going to pack up and move their campsite. That it was like he was still creeping them out.
The family is hoping someone can help them find answers.
What is very uncomforting is that there 100% is a murderer on the loose.
A murderer who took 2 lives away, but the family says will never put out the light, the love of Kylan and Crystal.
We're going to let their love light shine, that they had the most beautiful love, and that light is not stopping.
She's right. There's a murder on the loose. I mean, no one's been arrested. No one's been charged. This happened August 18th. Let's bring in tonight's guest. Joining me in Salt Lake City, Utah, private investigator Jason Jensen, and in New Haven, Connecticut, retired FBI special agent and senior lecturer at the University of New Haven, Kenneth Gray. Great to have you both back on the show. We've got some new details that I want to share with you that have been revealed from search warrants. Let's take a look at some of these details. The campsite near the LaSalle Loop Road, there was a blue Kia Sorento, a single camp tent, a makeshift rabbit shelter, and normal amenities for a long-term camping. The bodies of Crystal and Kylan were in a nearby creek. Both women were undressed from the waist down. One of the females had on a bra that was raised to expose her breasts. The second female was dressed in only a tank top. Multiple gunshot wounds on both bodies located on the backs, sides, and/or chests of the victim. Some new details being revealed. Jason Jensen, I'll begin with you. Let's start with the fact that they're found in a nearby creek. How does that impact the investigation, the gathering of evidence, etc.?
Well, it makes you wonder if the reason why the bodies were in a creek was to somehow wash away DNA or something like that. So it really depends on how large of a creek it really was, if it was sufficient enough as a means to trying to destroy the evidence of this perpetrator. But given the fact that it sounds like these two women were sexually assaulted, I would hope that there's ample DNA to collect and try to figure out who this guy is.
Yeah, Kenneth Gray, that's the other part of this, right? Both women undressed from the waist down, the bra raised on one of the women. Does that get us close to trying to figure out a potential motive in all of this? Could this be done to throw investigators off the track? What are your thoughts?
So I would first approach this from the simplest point of view that it looks like this is a crime motivated by a sex crime. I'd like to know whether or not the local authorities there collected up any DNA evidence. That would make all the difference in the world if they do have DNA evidence taken from the both ladies. Or the Bureau also has devices called MVACs, which can pull DNA off of things like rocks, like clothing, like other hard objects, something that previously was unavailable to get DNA from things that you would think there would be no DNA left behind. So if there was DNA that was left on some of the rocks near the ladies, it may be possible to still pull DNA off of that, despite the fact that they're in the water.
Multiple gunshot wounds on both bodies, located on the back, sides, and/or chests of the victim. Jason Jensen, anything you're gleaning from that at this point, or other questions that you have related to that?
Well, it clearly looks like the guy was going out of his way to make sure that he killed them, that they wouldn't be able to identify him or testify against him. So he's shooting them, and they're fighting, turning around, trying to avoid being killed, and obviously didn't work out that way.
I've got more from the search warrants. Investigators were informed that Kylan had mentioned to her friends that if something happened to them, that they were murdered. Kylan had continued by saying there was a creepy man around their camp and they had been intimidated by him. Kylan and Crystal were reported to be last seen at Woody's Tavern, and security footage shows them leaving the bar August 13th at 10:30 p.m. As we say, they're living at this campsite, living what the relative said as the van life. Kenneth Gray, you got the creepy man. How do you track down this creepy man? Sounds like, obviously, suspect number one would be the creepy man, but how are we going to find this creepy man?
Yeah, that's a good question. And so I think that despite the fact that this is out in a rural area, there are still places that he may have gone into. So you would start looking in the area for things like gas stations, like restaurants, and start trying to develop potential suspects by checking into those places. I would also not discount the fact that there may be video in that area. There could be video at nearby gas stations. There could be video at nearby bus stations. There could be a potential to get a visual on this person. But first off, you need to interview people in the area, conduct what we normally would call a neighborhood. This is a pretty rural neighborhood, but conducting a neighborhood, you talk to all possible people in the area to see if they know anything about this particular crime. If they were so creeped out by this creepy man, other people may have seen someone like that and would recognize the description.
I've got some more details. Again, this is all from the search warrant, newly revealed. A second vehicle, a gray 1987 Ford Econoline van, had been left in the parking lot of the McDonald's located at the intersection of Cane Creek Boulevard. Now, this is the van. Talking about living the van life, this is that van. The van was registered to both of the victims. There was one black journal with newspaper clippings, miscellaneous mail, pay stubs, a Bible, miscellaneous notes with handwritten information. Now, some other information coming forward now. We've got an electronic scale with residue, which tested positive for marijuana, a glass pipe with green leafy residue, small plastic container with green leafy residue, 10 blue pills identified as clonazepam, 13 white pills identified as ibuprofen, 9 capsules identified as amoxicillin, and 1.5 pink pills identified as prednisone. But I wanted to show you something else that came out of the search warrant, which was a storage unit, which was shared by both victims and the father of one of the victims. Okay, so they're sharing this storage unit. And in there, 5 marijuana paraphernalia items, 1 methamphetamine paraphernalia item, 4 cocaine paraphernalia items, 2 bags of white substance consistent with cocaine, 2 tablets, 6 smartphones. All right, Kenneth Gray, I'll start with you. So looking at the drug aspect of this, and obviously, it could be personal use. I don't know. You've got a scale. What more do you want to know? What else would you look into based upon things that were found here, both in that van and in the storage unit?
I would talk to friends, relatives to see whether or not either one of these ladies were engaged in any type of sales of narcotics, any type of sales of marijuana. The scale is something of interest there. The scale tends to imply that one or both were involved with trying to sell drugs on the side. And, one was working at that McDonald's where the van was found. I'd like to know whether or not the van was still working. Maybe the reason why it was still parked at the McDonald's was maybe it wasn't functional at the time.
Jason Jensen, there's a lot of information revealed in all these warrants, and obviously investigators are following every lead they can. Where do you think the lead comes from that leads to a suspect here? Is it going to be from something forensically, something that was left, something that was found, or do you think it's going to come from a person who knows something?
I think the strongest likelihood of leading to a suspect would be from the DNA testing. Ken hit the nail when he said about the MVAC. My friend, and I'm from Utah, I'm very familiar with Moab. One of the things that my friend Francine Bartle has developed using the MVAC is the Bartle method, which she's used to actually retrieve DNA off of the spent shell casings at a gang shooting. So it's very possible somebody like her could use the MVAC and extract DNA from the shell casing. So if they can do that on a gang shooting, they can do that here.
All right, we're going to continue to track this case and all the developments as they come.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Mercy, where do I start? Welcome. I'm going to start off by saying the obvious, what I've already said. 2 women are dead, killed brutally out there in Moab. Many people speculated that Brian could have been a suspect. As most of you know, he is deceased. One of the women worked at the Moonflower Co-op. Perhaps one of them saw something, said something. We now get information from the father of one of the women that they were shooting pool, gathering at a Woody's Tavern with a couple. Was that couple Petito and Laundry? At this tavern, they also spoke with some people about a creepy guy that was hanging around the campsite. So you can weigh the conversation 1,000 different ways, because what I have to tell myself when I chop up everything, The guy that's shooting pool, I wouldn't think would be that same guy, because I wouldn't be shooting pool with somebody that was creeping around my campsite. That's first and foremost. You understand? Because the father is saying the conversation took place with the friends at the tavern about the creepy guy, but yet they were shooting pool with a couple. So perhaps we're talking about two different men, or sets of men. I don't know. But like I said, if they were at the tavern talking to friends on the phone or whomever about creepy guy, then the guy that's shooting pool with them can't be the same guy, because common sense will tell you, why would I be shooting pool with somebody who was creeping around my campsite? That doesn't make any sense. Was this couple the Petito and Laundry? I don't know. Did they ever move their campsite? I don't know. That's one question I've been trying to figure out. Did they ever move their campsite? When they left allegedly their friend's house that night, or being with their friends, one, why did they even go back if somebody was creeping around? Two, did they get a chance to move? Were they in transition of moving when they got murdered? See, 1,000 questions you don't have any answers to. Is the killer still walking around us? If it's not Brian Laundrie, then it's somebody, or somebody plural. Who is it? Where are they? To shoot the women the way the person did makes me believe, like what this commentator is saying, Mr. Politan, is that they wanted to make sure that the women were dead. Now, let's go over to what was found in the side of the car, the van, and the storage unit. Nothing major was found in the van that belonged to them, the McDonald's. Don't know if the car still works or don't work. But what was found in the storage unit is baffling. Well, let's just say suspect. I won't say baffling. It only be baffling if I knew her and didn't know they used drugs. Were they using drugs or selling drugs? They also shared the storage unit with the father. So is the father engaging in felonious behavior with drugs? Is he a drug user and or selling? You really don't need scales unless you are buying a lot of quantity either for yourself or you're selling the drugs. Everybody knows this that's in the game. You really don't have any needs for scales. Okay? You just don't. Unless you're buying a quantity from a person often, or two, you're buying from somebody to sell. And this is really disturbing, because this is what happens when terrible things go on with people that are deceased. The worst things come out about their life, their past, whatever. And it's sad because they're deceased and they can't defend themselves to tell what was going on with them, what happened at that campsite, what's in the storage unit. Is it theirs, or is it the father's, or does it belong to somebody else? Because once you have a combination of three people sharing a storage unit, now you got to decide whose those belongings belong to. And also, the stuff that's in that storage unit that they seized and found, is it this same father that's been giving commentary for his daughter? Because I find that very interesting as well. Because there's only been one person talking about these crimes, and that's let me go back to my notes up here. Hold on one second. Thank you all for joining me. Let's see. Colin Schultz's father's been the one that's been doing all the talking to these people, to the public. And he's a Caucasian male, got a little scruffy with beard and mustache. Sean Paul is his name. Sean Paul, are you the one sharing the unit with the ladies, or is it someone else's father? Because now people are going to question that. If indeed you're the father that's sharing the unit, and are those items in that unit yours, or it belongs to one of the other ladies, or both of the ladies? That is the said information. Lord have mercy. Now I'm going to get to the business of Brian Laundrie being alive. Rumors are circulating with people saying they've seen him, spotted him, all type of foolishness going on. You're entitled to believe what you want to believe. One thing I'm learning about true crime is that a lot of people cannot accept what has been given to them. They want to make people be alive when they're not alive. They want to bring in 1,001 conspiracies pertaining to a story for some crazy, odd reason. I don't understand why. Some of you cannot accept basic information. 1 second, please. I gotta check something out. I'm having to do my own modding. Lord have mercy. Okay. One second, you guys. A lot of stuff I have to do without any help. Okay. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Let me go ahead and get back to where I was. The chat throws me off every time. Some people believe that he's still alive. Now, naturally, a skull was found in the reserve. Teeth were found. They were compared to his living relatives and dental records that he had at one time going to the dentist. And they say it is him. You're entitled to believe whatever you want pertaining to this storyline. I'm going to play you a little bit of news from a channel called CN News that's here in the YouTube queue with information pertaining to him being alive. And we will go from there. See what is the truth and what is not the truth pertaining to Brian Laundrie. As I said, I believe he's dead, but somebody don't believe it. This was uploaded 6 days ago by CN News. Let's see what happens here.
Brian Laundrie sleuths claim that he was seen in a photo running this month in a wild letter as his parents attempt to access his estate. The email was part of court filings in Laundrie's estate case, in which his parents are trying to collect $20,000 from his bank account. In the note, which included extremely grainy images, the unknown sender alleges that Laundrie is alive and is being helped by a friend and family member, though the sender did not accuse his parents, Roberta and Christopher Laundrie. Brian Laundrie is still alive, a copy of the email obtained by the Sun says. A photo of Brian Christopher Laundrie running down from the street caught on CCTV on December 3, 2021 is attached, the email continues. The wild note concludes by stating, "So, I don't think you should not grant a cremate for Brian Christopher Laundrie, who is the son of Roberta and Christopher Laundrie." The court document notes that no further action was taken by the court after receiving the email. Laundrie's remains were discovered in late October after a manhunt that went on for over a month, after he was named a person of interest in his fiancée Gabby Petito's disappearance, and later, her death. The Circuit Court of the 12th Judicial Circuit in and for Sarasota, Florida, did not immediately return the Sun's request for comment regarding the outlandish claims made in the email. The email was part of court filings in Laundrie's estate case. Chris and Roberta Laundrie filed a petition on December 8 to gain access to their son's estate. The couple are asking to become administrators of the estate. The records show they submitted Laundrie's death certificate in court along with information about his bank accounts and property. Court records showed Laundrie had $20,000 in his bank account when he died, even though he allegedly spent $1,000 on Gabby's credit card after her death. Gabby Petito's mother has also filed a claim to get her murdered daughter's belongings back from the Laundrie home. Laundrie family attorney Stephen Bertolino confirmed to the U.S. Sun on Tuesday the family will not contest her mom, Nicole Schmidt's, claim. "This is a mere formality. Mrs. Schmidt is seeking Gabby's possessions," Bertolino said. According to the lawyer, Nicole is requesting to recover all of 23-year-old Gabby's belongings from the Laundrie home in Northport. Arrangements will be made, and they will be given to Gabby's family without contest, Bertolino told the U.S. Sun. On Tuesday, court records showed Gabby's mom filed a statement in Sarasota County, Florida, regarding Laundrie's estate battle. The text of the claim doesn't refer to specific articles of Gabby's, so it's not known which of her belongings may be included in the suit. The basis for the claim is possession or control of personal property of Gabby Petito, the claim reads. The amount of the claim is unknown and is both now due, and will become due on the release of personal property. A local Florida estate attorney listed in court records for the petition, William Galarza, did not respond to a request for comment from the Sun.
Okay, so there you have it. CNN News bringing information. I don't know if this is true or not. I don't know if it's true he had $20,000. So what you have to ask yourself is this. How did he have $20,000 in his bank account when he stole this girl's credit cards and her van and drove it all the way back to Florida? Then he could have jumped on a damn airplane to come home. Leave her van out there, leave her body out there. See, all this is up for questioning. So he was too cheap to even spend his own money. After he's murdered the girlfriend, took her car, took her credit cards, then goes out to reserve and kills himself. And leaves behind $20,000 in a bank account. Then there's also commentary that they shared expenses with the flights. I've also got that in my little database too, that they both shared the flights, which he came back for that short minute to clean out the storage locker so they wouldn't have expenses and to prolong their trip. But that makes no sense either, because you're going to go empty a storage locker out, travel back on an airplane to go back out west, and then kill the girlfriend. I still to this day don't believe anything about the storage locker. That's just me personally. Now her family is petitioning, trying to get all her belongings. Where are her belongings? And why haven't you, the Laundries, returned the girl's things to her family? She's dead. She is dead. So where are her things? Did you throw them away? What happened to them? See, that's what I always thought anyway when I heard he flew back. Because I needed verification of that as well, because I thought that was strange. Why would somebody be out west to only go jump on an airplane to fly back because of a storage locker, then jump back on a plane to go back and kill the girlfriend days later? That's just the stupidest story I ever heard in my life. But like they say, people do stupid things. So what's the truth? But the girl died shortly after, so it's just a jacked up story. Then we got 2 other dead girls in Moab who people think he has something to do with that. Now, months later, they haven't returned the girl's things to her parents, the Laundries, and now they're trying to go to court to get his estate, money or whatever belongs to him, from the bank. They're crying and moaning about that damn notebook that was found in the reserve to prove what to whomever to give you his stuff out from the bank. These people, the stuff they're doing, it gets worse and worse by the minute. That's why I quit talking about this story, because once I found out everybody was dead, that was enough for me. I didn't want to keep talking about these people. And now here we go. They want his money from the bank. I didn't really feel like you had to prove all this to get somebody's money from the bank. Once you realize he don't got no kids, he wasn't married, you show the death certificate to the bank, they go ahead and release the money. But they're probably trying to hurry and get that money because ting, ting, ting. They're worried about her family suing for anything. Which he was dead late October. Seemed like to me they could have already went to the bank by now and been able to be granted access to his funds, since they are the living relatives of him. It's a very strange story. Okay, I'm going to bring you some more content by CNN News. Thank you all for joining me. So much. I can't even keep up with all of it. So that first story I just brought you is by CNN News. Brian Laundries sleuths say he was pictured alive this month. Okay. The next story is by CNN News as well. A photo of Brian Laundrie running down the street caught on CCTV. This was uploaded 6 hours ago. These people, you can't make this stuff up. This is ridiculous.
New messages received from Penny Film. Message is: Hi Angela. I hope you had a wonderful holiday. How can I help?
Okay, one minute, you all. Got a message coming in. One second. One second. I'm responding to something. One minute. Same type. What'd you say, honey? Same type of people that say Paul McCartney is dead. Half or all should go to Gabby's family. I don't know about a gun, dear. One minute. I can't even do what I'm trying to do. Okay. Sorry, I had an important message I had to send. Okay, you guys. Here we go. Hello, everybody. Thank you. Sorry about that. I had a brief moment off of here. Okay. The second source pertaining to Mr. Laundry's crazy story. A photo of Brian Laundry running down the street on CCTV. I do not believe any of this mess I'm hearing and seeing. I don't know. I don't even know what's going on right now. It's just crazy to me. I'm going to go ahead and play you the content. Thank you so much, if I can. Oh, Lordy. This is weird.
Wild and unsubstantiated claim. Laundrie's parents are currently entrenched in a legal case to gain access to the $20,000 contained in the deceased fugitive's bank account. Laundrie's remains were found in the Carlton Reserve on October 20th, 2021, after he fled his Florida home following the disappearance of his girlfriend, Gabby Petito. Petito was later found to have been strangled to death in Wyoming. Now, as his parents seek access to their late son's estate, sleuths invested in the case are attempting to prevent this from happening. The email was sent by an unknown sender who made several bizarre allegations about Laundrie and his family. The note contained several grainy images and claimed that Laundrie is being helped by a friend and family member to stay in hiding. Brian Laundrie is still alive, a copy of the email obtained by the Sun says. A photo of Brian Christopher Laundrie running down from the street caught on CCTV on December 3, 2021 is attached. This line possibly refers to CCTV footage that was shared amongst online sleuths in December that shows a man who vaguely resembles Laundrie running with a backpack on. Little is known about where, when, and how the footage was obtained, but the image joins the countless alleged sightings of Laundrie. The sender argues that this evidence should be considered before giving Chris and Roberta Laundrie access to their son's estate. So, I don't think you should not grant a cremate for Brian Christopher Laundrie, who is the son of Roberta and Christopher Laundrie, the note reportedly concludes. The court document notes that no further action was taken by the court after receiving the email. The parents filed a petition to the Circuit Court of the 12th Judicial Circuit in and for Sarasota, Florida on December 8, 2021. Records show that they submitted their son's death certificate. Laundries' death was ruled a suicide by a self-inflicted gunshot wound. It is suspected that he died over a month before his remains were discovered, though sleuths have consistently questioned this timeline and the many suspicious details about his death. Partial remains were discovered in an area that had been predominantly underwater during the FBI's month-long search of the reserve. The remains were discovered on the day that Laundrie's parents first joined the search for their son, leading the FBI to his location. Court documents in Laundrie's estate case have also made the public aware, for the first time, that Laundrie had $20,000 in his account at the time of his death. Though Laundrie was never named an official suspect in Petito's death, which was ruled a homicide, he was wanted for unauthorized use of her credit card after allegedly spending $1,000 of her money, while making his way back from Wyoming after her death.
All right. That's the second source pertaining to Brian Laundrie being alive. I don't believe he's alive, but anyway, there's people running around posting stuff thinking that they're alive. I brought you two informations pertaining to Brian Laundrie being alive from CNN News. If you want to verify the information, Court TV information on the newlywed shot to death from Moab, things found in a storage locker that was related to drug paraphernalia and such. Is it theirs? Is it the father's? Were they selling drugs, using drugs? What was going on with the ladies? Who's the killers? Is the killer still out there? Is it more than one? Was it Brian Laundrie? I also brought you content pertaining to some guns that were found stolen in that area, and they don't know if perhaps they're linked to this crime or not. Just some very, very sick and ill things going on pertaining to this story. Very, 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 very ill. Like I said, you got people who just can't accept the fact that people are dead. You know, I'm seeing this more and more with true crime. Very wild stories, accusations of things. People who are been deemed dead, found dead. People don't want to believe they're dead. Then when they're missing, you come up with 1,001 reasons why they went missing, who did it, why. At some point, it's just a lot of noise because it starts to become ridiculous. Some of the assumptions, you know, you're entitled to think what you want to think, but you know, you have to know when to leave well enough alone. This is by The Independent. This is uploaded November 16th. Dr. Oz speaking to the family. And it's basically Gabby Petito's mother saying she didn't see warning signs in Brian Laundrie relationship in new interview. Play a piece of that if I can.
My business got robbed.
Yeah, my God.
All right, so today's the 5th of November. We just broke into everything that I had worked my whole...
I don't even know how that popped up like that. Good grief. Thank you all so much. Thank you. This is all the parents sitting talking with Dr. Oz during an interview pertaining to the relationship of Brian Laundrie and their daughter. Very sick situation still. Yeah, they won't get any peace with all this extra gossip and stuff. That is for sure. Wait 1 minute. I'm trying to get this thing to upload. Thank you for joining me, everybody. This is the longest commercial playing. Good Lord. Hold on 1 second, you guys. 1 second. I don't know why these things aren't playing. This is just very strange. Well, you guys, I was trying to play a video. This taking forever. Of the mother speaking, maybe not. This internet stuff gets on my nerve. Nothing loads like it should. Some people want you to believe that they have more secret privy info. Interesting.
I just, as a doctor, want to find out if you're doing okay. Nicole?
We're not okay. But we have this, we have each other, and we're going to help a lot of people, and that's what's keeping us going.
Did you have a sense that she was gone before you heard?
Yeah. The night I was told that her van was in Florida was the night that I knew in my heart that she was gone. I didn't express that to everybody, but I knew.
It becomes difficult to figure out how people like Brian Laundrie are able to hide it.
The way that the abuser works is to shame the victim and continually shame the victim to where they start believing that shame is theirs to hold. And when the victim is being shamed, they're not going to go out and tell you what's going on or, shout it.
You all went to Wyoming together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For the autopsy and to deal with that. How'd you guys hold it together?
We have each other.
Yeah. We went there and we knew that it felt like it was almost like her home at that point, her final resting place. Such a beautiful, peaceful place to be. And we went there to bring her home, and that's what we did. We did it together, and that's what she would have wanted.
All right. Try to get my bearings. Forgive me. All of this is a mess. All these rumors that he's still alive, Brian Laundrie. The 2 women's death out west, still unresolved. Now here at stateside, on this end of the spectrum, East Coast, the bottom, we've got his parents trying to get his money out of the bank, which makes no sense. Once again, like I said, him stealing her van, credit cards, he could have played it off and told people, hey, she left me. That's why I never understood the flying back and forth. If you got money to fly back and forth, you could have easily played it off. She left me. I don't know where she is, blah, blah, blah. He probably could be walking around free right now. Besides with a bullet in his head and deteriorating in a swamp. Brian Laundrie was stupid. Very stupid person. Because now that you see that he had money in the bank, $20,000, that's a lot for somebody who didn't have a job. So where did he get $20,000 from if these allegations are true? Where did he get money from? See, that's why I said I hate these type of stories because they never make any sense. The story in Rogersville don't make sense. This one don't make sense. Cal City don't make no sense. They never make any sense. 2 dead women by a creek, flying back and forth to empty out storage lockers. Days later, the girlfriend's dead, missing. He's riding around in her van. He and his parents are camping out in the damn park, having a party. People running around, chasing them around at their house and looting and laundering dinner, going to the sister's house. You doing all this shit for nothing. Because she's dead. Petito's dead. He was dead. And that's something I want to say too while I'm live. All that stuff everybody was doing down there in Florida with signs and laundry baskets. That boy was out there deteriorating in a swamp. How about that? All that cussing and fussing and trampling up the people's yard with your cars and all that stuff. Brian Laundrie was dead. Brian Laundrie was dead probably day one. How about that? No sightings of him up here in Tennessee, Smoky Mountains, Blue Ridge Mountains, Idaho, New York, Mexico. He wasn't nowhere but in that damn swamp. So all that fussing and cussing and ranting and raving in front of their house and ranting and raving in front of his sister's house and all that damn Q&A like you're a damn detective and you're not, with bullhorns and all that bullshit. For what? He was already dead. Now, nobody wants to let go that he's dead. So now they're seeing him running across the street. He's taking a jog. It's like BS all over again. So what is it going to take for some of you to realize? Just let it go. Now the Laundries won't give the girls' belongings back. Why not? You don't need them. And they want the notebook from law officials that they found in the swamp. Well, if they're still investigating Mr. and Mrs. Laundrie, you can't get the notebook back. Sorry. And I don't know how the notebook is going to help you get his estate. You can prove you're his parents. He was living in your house. So that's your proof right there to take to whoever, to the bank, to get his damn money. He doesn't have any children. He wasn't married. You're the next of kin. So what's the problem? I'm confused. Well, what does the notebook have to do with you getting the money out of the bank? All this is stupid to me. Very stupid and ignorant. All of it. And these people are left to grieve their daughter, and you all will not give her belongings back. Now you're trying to get his money out the bank, and that's another situation. I haven't heard anything about them trying to sue them for a civil suit for aiding the son. I did search. I'll go to search engine, try to find some information, but I haven't found anything. I don't know if her family are going to try to sue these people, but you see in a quick hurry, they're trying to hurry up and get that money out that account. But in the end, it won't matter, because if they decide to sue you and they do win in court, that little $20,000 that you got out of Brian's bank account won't mean nothing. So how is the sister doing, I wonder? Does the sister and the Laundries have a relationship now? Are they speaking? Are they dealing with each other? She does have children. You're going to miss out on the children because your son's dead. He can't give you any children. He can't give you anything. He's gone. And you all are poor examples of parents. It's possibly why Brian Laundrie was the misfit that he was. Because you just don't grow up one day murdering people. You had some sick sensations, ideologies for a while. Was he born a killer or made a killer? I don't know. But he's still a product of the Laundries. And you can see that they are nonchalant in their disposition because they made no attempt to try to talk to Gabby's parents, and that says a lot about their character. Because they would felt sick to death had it been their child or daughter out there missing, and nobody would answer their phone and talk to them. They would have been sick puppies. You treat people the way you want to be treated. And they're never going to have any good luck in life because people are always going to look at them as those dirty Laundries. They had a kid living in their house alongside their son, and I don't know the dynamics of that relationship, but look at the after effects. They didn't treat the girl good in death, so why would I think they treated her good in life? And I'm still thinking possibly the reason those kids went on the road is really not for what everybody thinks it was. To film riding around in a van life. Well, look what the van life got her. Got her killed. Because she was sleeping with the enemy the whole time. And 9 times out of 10, had she not went cross country with Brian Laundrie, she would have ended up dead in Florida. The proof is in the pudding. He is a monster. He was a monster. He would have hurt Gabby irregardless. When I was going to my information just now, I was looking at a photo of him. One of the infamous photos of him standing being interrogated by the law officials out there. And it's a blown up picture. He's got scratches under his eye and under the side of his eye. he and Gabby had been fighting in that damn van before they got pulled over. Because where did the scratches on his eye come from? I just looked at that before going live, and I said, wait a minute. This blowed up picture, I said, he's got visible scratches under his eye and on the side of his eye. So they probably they were tussling in there before they got pulled over. Or previously. They were doomed from the start. Because all this time she's been aiding this guy. She didn't know anything about him. And I do believe I have another article where I believe her mother was saying she was possibly dependent on him. And that's a dangerous way to live, is to be codependent on somebody. Because people will use you when they see you need them a lot. You always need help. You need this. You need that. They'll use you. That's how people get used every day. They see that people will cater to them, do stuff for them. They're begging all the time. Or if they see that you can't maintain on your own, hold your own, you can't make life decisions without getting an okay from somebody, the people use you. That's what people do. Then they start to run your life. They're clocking every step you make. I believe that's Brian Laundrie. That's who he was. He was a sick, insecure young man. And he killed a young lady and himself and possibly those other two. I don't know. Now, the issue with the women, were they involved in some illegal drug trafficking, drug trade? Did somebody know they were out there? Did they owe somebody some money? Was somebody trying to rob them? Had they sold drugs to somebody and they came back, knew where they were? What's the 411? I don't know. But I have to admit, this court TV audio that I played you is very disturbing of what was found in the storage locker between the two women and the father. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all. It doesn't look good at all. It looks like somebody was in the drug trade, and unfortunately, two women lost their lives for whatever reason. And the killer or killers are still at large. And that's scary. Because if it doesn't link Brian Laundrie to the gun from the reserve to out there, ballistics out there, Lord have mercy. Somebody was running around, lurking around, found them two victims out there and killed them. Sexually assaulted the women and killed them. Very sick. And I also had information pertaining to the Petitos in a database. Let's see. This is by the Independent. It says the FBI will have pieced together Brian Laundrie's digital footprint and be aware of his movements and communications in the days before his death, according to one expert. Laundrie's remains are being examined by forensic anthropologists in Sarasota to try to determine cause of death. This is old because we already know he died of suicide. But basically, her family, let's see. Hold on one second. I'm trying to get what they were saying. I have to skip over. It's a long article. It's called Gabby's Law. And it says Joseph Petito calls on states to make it compulsory to report missing persons cases to national database. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm not sounding too good, honey. Just this cold I've got. Sorry, I'm a little off today. It says, Gabby Petito's father is calling on states to make it compulsory to report missing person cases to a national database. The National Missing and Unidentified Persons System, NAMUS, is a federally funded resource center to help law enforcement track cases. The site is described by cold case investigators as the nation's most effective database for tracking missing persons, but many law enforcement agencies don't use it. Now that sounds crazy. Many law enforcement agencies don't use it. That makes no sense. Okay, only 10 states have passed legislation requiring law enforcement to report missing person cases. Joseph Petito, whose daughter was killed during a van life tour, has become a vocal campaigner in trying to improve the way missing persons cases are investigated. On Wednesday, he asked his 100,000 followers on Twitter, should every state make it a law to report to http://namis.gov or create a site so that all the missing in all states can be found in one database? If yes, tag all the politicians to help make it so. Okay. Now, there's another link in here called https://t.co/kpcf/FGXLWC is one of the only places to see who is missing in all states. Only 10 states made it so law enforcement has to utilize it. Let me know. 1, if you heard of it. 2, if your state doesn't take part. Do you want them to? Hashtag Gabby Petito, hashtag Missing in America. Okay. And then there was another one that they had, and this was November 5th, 2021. Miss Petito's parents established the Gabby Petito Foundation to assist other families to reunite with their missing children and loved ones. It's very sad to me. But yes, there should be a database for missing people. And that's why they tell you, hello, Broomer, that the first 3 hours is pivotal in finding a person missing. It doesn't matter who it is. The first 3 hours. That's where you get your leads, where they were, who they talked to, who last seen them, who last saw them, excuse me. Not 4 or 5 days in. You need something pertinent from the start. From the start. So hopefully a database will work, and hopefully our law enforcement will use it, because as this article states, this is by the Independent. They're not even using the database for the missing people, which makes no damn sense. Because I think what they're thinking is, well, you're grown, it doesn't matter. Grown people have the option to fall off, not be bothered, not answer their phone, not answer their door, yeah. And that's the situation. Prayers for their family. Prayers for these young ladies who were found murdered. I pray that there's a resolution soon to where they can be located. I'm going to get off of here because I'm a little raspy. But I thank you all for joining me. If you need to verify any information that I've mentioned in the audio, it's all in the queue from CN News and Court TV pertaining to the women and what was found in the storage lockers. Some stolen guns weeks before their death. Don't know if it has any relevance to the case. Sightings of Brian Laundrie allegedly. Some people still believe he's alive, which I do not. And his family is trying to get $20,000 of his money out of his bank account. And I find it just preposterous, because it's like, what was the purpose of all that he went through with Gabby, killing her, because I do believe he killed her, going across country in her van, stealing her debit cards, to only find out now, months later, after he's killed himself, he had $20,000 allegedly in his bank account. So what was the purpose in killing her and stealing her money? You could be alive right now. He could be alive right now, Mr. Laundrie. She could be alive right now doing her own thing, and everybody would be in their own lane and happy. So this story really makes no sense, because our assumption, some of us, that he was a bum. He didn't work. He didn't have anything. So I'm going to say this before I leave. If indeed $20,000 is in his account, where did it come from if he didn't work? He didn't have a job. So he saved a little bit of his money from each little jobs he had and acquired $20,000. And no matter where the money came from, why did he steal that girl's car and steal her credit cards? So he was that cheap, even after death. All this could have been avoided had Brian Laundrie just forfeited the relationship. Gabby too. Each said, hey, it's not working. And each went their separate way, but they did not. She held on, and she lost her life because she held on to a nobody. And I sometimes in my spirit believe he plotted this at some point on that trip to kill her, because I think they were having too many fights, altercations, physical, and he started plotting her death on that trip. I'm telling you, I still believe this. That's why he flew back. It's bullshit about the storage unit and all that. They both shared the expenses of the flight tickets. I just read that. That sounds bogus to me. Because why would they be buying flight tickets if they drove the van out there? See, none of that makes any sense. So basically, you're saying the tickets were just for him because she didn't fly anywhere. Yes, I know, Bridget. Yes. None of your business says, yes, Queen. That's why he went back to kill her. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Because you can't explain that logically now that we know he had money. He had no reason to even return from the trip from Florida initially for the storage unit. He could have came back, emptied the storage, took what he wanted out, called her and told her it's not working out. I got your things over here, over there, and that'd been the end of the story. She would be alive today, and Brian Laundrie would be alive. Thank you so much for joining me. If you want to donate to the channel, $BigAngie129 Cash App. I'm going to try to get a little rest, get my voice together. Thank you all so much for the support. God bless all of you. When I get more stimulating information, I will bring it to you. But this is a very sad and diabolical story because it's sad. We got 2 women dead, 1 girl dead. This fool kills himself. Crazy ass parents that wouldn't even aid her parents. And now all they care about is $20,000 in the bank. Just very sad and depressing. You all have a wonderful week. I'll talk to you guys later. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Thank you so much. God bless you. Bye. Thank you, whodunit. Thank you so much.